the links out so people are going to tune in listening to me saying this. So
yeah,
there you go.
Probably check the audio, see if everything's okay there.
Yeah, exactly. Got to be careful not to swear. I do like a good F word here and there.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's
yeah, just can't keep away from it. So we've got 2 viewers already. Thank you for tuning in, guys. This is round 1 of the FP League. Hulk, do you want to speak while I share the links out?
Yeah, it should be an interesting race. There's quite a depleted grid today. I think there's only 11 races at the moment. But regardless, because it's FP, everyone should be relatively close to each other. Ash is still the favourite because he's been setting, well, I think he's been setting around a 22.7 was his boasted time, so probably looking around that area for pole position.
That sounds.
And I need to go into spectate mode. I can't. Who won the title last season? I can't quite remember.
It was Ash Best. He did the double.
He did the. I see. Well,
it's like he
won. Looking to.
Yeah, he won the Premier League and then he won the League Cup. Yeah. You know.
FA Cup. It's probably
yeah,
I call this. Yeah, well, obviously looking to retain us. Maybe do the double again.
Yeah, he definitely could do.
Further down the grid, look out for JP Greenwood, looking for his first point in a long time. Got to be his aim. Obviously with the depleted grid, he feels like he might have a better chance than normal. Obviously there's a few drivers who obviously have shown decent pace. Mr. Grumpy, you always have to watch out for him. He's incredibly experienced and always has decent pace. He's in the Red Bull as well, so that's quite a good car for him, I think. Chicken Owens, he's another young driver. Went up to F3 this season. Spent the second half of last season in F4. Won 1 race. Got about 3 different pole positions and 4 fastest laps. So I'll keep an eye on him as well.
Yeah, so quite a lot of drivers on this grid, and we've got a question in our chat nice and early, and it's from Game Freaker. And it's Ask Iran and Hulk, who is the favourite to win the opening race in F4?
Oh, F4, that's a difficult question. Different people give you different answers. I'm going to go for Warren Haig. I think he's probably the favourite. He showed really good pace in the pre-season race, and was just very unlucky to be taken out through some form of incident, but it looked like he could be on for a victory then. And other than that, Mr. Gumpy won it by a country mile last year, so he should also be up there on the podium at least.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go for... I think I might go with Josh for this one. I just reckon Boy with No Face has just got that speed around Melbourne, just that raw pace, and I think that could definitely pay dividends. And I'm just wondering, could we manage to get a pre-race interview from someone? Maybe send... I don't know, send Jack Tyler or Oogie an invite. I think one of them wants to really get some words out.
Yeah, let's invite both maybe.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, but just on the talking about Josh, I did have a very good race with him back on F1 2015 in the Australian Grand Prix. Ended up with the double podium for the Toro Rosso back then. So, obviously we're in different teams now, but I wouldn't mind competing with him for a podium again.
Yeah, I reckon he's definitely going to be one to keep an eye out for. He's a good driver to race wheel to wheel despite his season-long ban, but we've got to look at the drivers here today for FP, and as you said, a mixture of talent from all across the site. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a really tight grid. Everybody in different cars, different car performances. So we do have 6 viewers on air, which is a new record for this channel. And Hulkenberger has left me for the time being. Hopefully he'll be back in in a second. But this qualifying session is about to get underway now at Albert Park for my first ever live stream.
Well, that was awkward. I accidentally joined Ugi's party rather than inviting him. That was
that's all right. That's exactly how you want to start the day, and I've got to be careful not to allow the F1 logo to be seen. So let's see who comes out of the garage first. I'm going to see if I can actually get the stream distributed on the PSN chats as well.
Well, it's going to be Ash probably. That tends to be what he likes to do.
Yeah, I'll definitely want the early birds to eat the worm here tonight. It's a good sized grid actually. 12 drivers. It's not going to be too congested. Everybody's going to have half a shout of points, and it is Ash Best who's going to be first to the track. So we'll give him the airtime. He is the man at the moment, isn't he, Hulk? And do you want to talk about what you saw yesterday from this man? A great heart, great character of steel. Talk us through it.
He showed absolutely incredible pace in qualifying. He had a slight incident in his second lap, but his first lap was so good that he got him on pole regardless. And then in the race, despite the best efforts of certain people who I'd rather not mention, he still managed to win the race, despite other people trying to disrupt his race and have other people catch up to him. And it was a very special drive from him, and he fully deserved victory yesterday, and he's going to hope to repeat it today in the same car, although it's a slightly slower version of it. But I still think he's the favourite for the victory today, just as he was the favourite yesterday.
No, you're definitely right about that, and he's got the McLaren Honda here for round one, so it's not going to be the best car on the power, but it's a good car to drive around this circuit considering how many corners there are. So he'll have to use that aerodynamic grip to his advantage.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all the McLaren Honda has going for it. It means that we might see some more audacious overtaking moves ever further down the order. But he's going to hope to be on pole position and then just try and ensure other people stay behind him so he doesn't have to do any of these overtakes. But it's not going to be easy because there's so many quick drivers around today. You've got Warren Hagen, a Ferrari. It's about, I think it's it is a Ferrari. It's a very good car for him. You've got obviously Mr. Grumpy in the Red Bull. We got EMS in the Toro Rosso. You can never be counted out either. So it's going to be difficult for him, but I'm still favouring him for the win regardless.
Yeah, and do we know the car allocations for today? I'm going to see if I can find out while we're on board with the McLaren Honda of Ash Best. Look at this man. He is absolutely flying out there. Do you want to describe what you're seeing here, Hulk? This man is on absolute fire.
Well, he's headed to turn 3 here. He's gone wide.
Oh.
He's gone wide, he's gone off. That's his lap local already.
Yeah, we'll go on
That's
board with
commentator's
AMS.
curse there, I think.
Yeah. So AMS runner-up in FP obviously last season, so lost that to the title to Ash Best unfortunately, but he'll be bouncing back stronger. He's got the Toro Rosso here today. In the Ferrari, we've got Dino and Warren Hay. In the Mercedes, we've got JP Greenwood and Joe Finn. In the Red Bull, Mr. Grumpy and Curtois, Flying Throne and Chicken Owens. In the Force India, Joel, who's not here today, and Matt V, they were going to be in the Williams. CC Brain and Big C were going to be in the Renault, but I think Jack Tyler's taking the Renault for this one. So AMS currently, who we're on board with in the Toro Rosso with Oogie, Greeny and Rocco in the Haas, but neither of them are here, and Jack Lacey is joining Ash Best in the McLaren. So that is a rundown who's in what car. We should have done that earlier, but you know, it's the first race of the season, anything can happen as AMS drives to the line. Is this going to be a good lap, Hulk?
Well, we're about to find out as he crosses the line. It looks like in the 23s, yeah, 23.5. I'm not entirely sure how representative that is, but it's quicker than Chicken Owens by 0.3 of a second. and quicker than Warren here by 1/10 of a second. So it does look to be a fairly good time from EMS there. Although Kurt Ross has just beaten it by a 10th in the Red Bull.
Yeah, Jack Lacey to line as well, so this is going to be interesting. In the McLaren Honda goes P4, so not a bad effort from him either. I know CC Brain's also out there, so he's coming across the line now, and he goes fastest on a 23.3. What a lap time. And there's one man we've got to go on board with this, Mr. Grumpy. He's on a flying lap, take us through one of the most experienced drivers on the grid.
And just coming down to the end of the first sector now, and just getting the outside of the curve there. Looks like a fairly decent run as he heads down towards, I can't remember what corner it is, but braking hard. Just clips the curve there and runs out nicely. He's very smooth driving here from the very experienced Red Bull driver, coming towards the end of sector 2 now and into the chicane. It's a 27.8 sector 2. Ooh, he's taking out the ball out there. I'm not sure if that's a lap invalidated or not. He might just about got away with it. And he's heading now down towards the final part of the lap. These two right-handers, 90-degree corners, go into the final 2 corners now. We just ran out of the gravel there. Brake hard on the left now. Accelerating up through the final right-hand turn, 4th gear into 5th, DRS open, running down to the line. It looks like it's going to be around a 124.1.
Invalidated. He definitely looks like he's struggling under power. Mr. Grumpy absolutely wrenching that car around, and I don't know if any of the others are going for flying laps. Is Oogie going to go for a second part, or will he be in at the end of this lap?
Well, we're about to find out. I think he might. He's continuing on. I thought he might just go in. It doesn't look like a very quick lap time there, but he's decided to carry on anyway. Running down to the line. It's going to be a 123.2, which shows what I know, up to second place.
Yeah, it's a good lap time. And no, Ash Best has come out for another lap. We've gone on board with him once before, but you know what? This man is always going to get stream time. He's the hottest property on the Psgl site at this very moment. And is it a traumatic race circuit for him to drive at today? Hulk, I know we can't brush it aside, but how must he be feeling going around these corners? Will he be having nightmares of Sandman Kid and Shortbread from last night? Or will he have recovered from that?
I'm sure he's put that out of his mind. Different day, different race, different league. And all you can focus on now is qualifying for this race, doing as best he can. He still won the race yesterday, so as much as they tried to disrupt him, it didn't matter in the end. So I think that's all behind him. It's all history, and he's just going to focus on today's race.
That's well said. And Anthony Haig has just posted in the chat. He feels 0.5 seconds off on the supers was a good lap time. So
yeah, I didn't
Warren
notice he
Haig
was on the super soft there. That's
and he's in the Ferrari. So is it an overpowered car? Who knows? But Warren Haig definitely has the experience to light it up around this Albert Park circuit as he warms up for F4 in just under a week's time. But Ash Best here, he will be looking for pole position. He is one of the most talented drivers we will ever see on the PlayStation GL site. We're going to keep banging on about it until your eardrums burst. Ash Best now around the final corner. He drives to the line. DRS wide open. What's this going to be? Is he going to be able to stick it up there?
It's a 23.3. That's 3rd place. It's not quite as good as he said he can do, but not a bad lap at all. On to the second row of the grid for the moment.
Yeah, I don't know if Chicken Holmes is on a lap. Is he going to start one? He's going to start one now. So we'd just like to send out our best wishes to Flying Throne, who's Chicken's uncle, who's recovering from an eye injury after looking after Chicken's puppy. But Chicken owns these. It's become a rising star, and you know him very well from your time admin in the F4 league. This man has made the move up, hasn't he, to F3, is it?
Yep, that's where he's joined his uncle in the F3 division. Showed some very good pace last season. As I said before, he got a few pole positions. He got the win in Japan, I think, and he was always toward the front of the grid, although incidents didn't help him. Neither did his track limits, which is something he needs to work on, I feel.
Yeah, yellow flags. sorry, there's yellow
There is
flags
yellow
out
flags.
there. Don't know who it is.
There's yellow flag, but I was saying that this racecraft, at times it felt a bit aggressive, but if you watch it back, it's all fair and above board, I feel, and very strong racecraft. Oh, he's shaking his wheel there. Doesn't seem to be particularly happy about this lap.
Yeah, so Chicken Holmes, I don't know if he's going to be able to improve in the Sahara. Fortunately, he goes really deep into the corner. As you said, shaking his head, and VJ Malley on the pit will absolutely shaking his head as well. Chicken Holmes to the line. Can he improve? Can he? No.
Ooh, I think
he might have.
he improved the final sector by 5 thousandths. I think he improved his lap by about 5 thousandths, but I don't think he went up a place. Yeah.
Should we give JP Greenwood some camera time? He always complains he doesn't get enough camera time, but here he is, JP Greenwood, in the Mercedes, on the super soft tyres, the second hardest compound available to us for this race. What are your thoughts on that?
It's an interesting choice. I mean, I'm not entirely sure why he's done that. I mean, you might as well go for the ultra softs, because even if he qualifies outside the top 10, then he gets a pick on the supers anyway. I also wouldn't really use the supers as a race tyre, because they're not really necessary if you're going to do a one-stop race and just go ultras to softs, but it's his choice, and he is going for a flying lap now. Looking for his first points in a long time today.
Well, you're not going to get a better opportunity than this track today, to be fair. And look at that, JP really wrenching the steering wheel. Look at that, he's having 3 or 4 bites on the straight. Look at that, he's absolutely not comfortable to balance that car, but he's absolutely keeping that car glued to the circuit. He's looking comfortable more than he ever has been. But look at that, he doesn't want to get too close to the edge of the track. Takes a really, really tight corner there. Might have lost a couple of attempts as he corrects a bit of oversteer with this chicane. Will he be able to handle it? Look how many bites he's having on a straight. He might not have the capacity to go around this corner, but look at that. Smooth as you like, misses the apex, and oh my goodness me, the wheel is off, and JP Greenwood is out of the qualifying, trying to qualify on the super soft tyres, and Hulk, what happened there?
Well, it seemed to me that he was absolutely terrified of going anywhere near the curves. And he just refused to go anywhere near them. You saw that he went very slowly through the first part of the chicane, and then instead of cutting across the second part as most people do, he decided he was just going to avoid it completely, which forced him out wide onto the grass, and then he spun and lost his wheel.
Yeah,
You need to be more aggressive on the curves, especially in qualifying, I feel.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I was worried when he was going into that chicane, but Ugi Azim's going to be on a hot lap at the moment. I know there's going to be quite a few people on a hot lap, so I don't know who's going to be the first to cross the line, so I'm going to stay with Ugi for the time being. So lap times are pretty close at the moment. Warren Haig goes fastest with a 22.5 in the Ferrari. That is a mammoth lap time.
Yeah, just absolutely obliterated the previous fastest time set by EMS. I'm not sure if anyone could get anywhere near that. Is anyone actually on a lap to get close to that? I don't think they are.
Well,
Correct voice, I think Ugi might be.
Yeah, I don't know if Ugi's got it within him to get that lap time, especially in the Toro Rosso. Look at that. He's on a smooth lap at the moment. Smooth as I've ever seen him. I think it's Ugi I'm on board with in the Toro Rosso. Yes, it is. Goes around that final sector. He's really fighting the car. Jack Lacey finishes in 7th. Curtois is out of qualifying in 3rd. Mr. Grumpy goes 5th in the Red Bull. And now Ugi to the line. What can he do here? He goes 2nd. Front row start. But
yep, and EMS was a 10th up in the 2nd sector on his lap, so let's see how he can do.
To the line. AMS, can he get a few more attempts? No, he can't. Dano's out there as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he dropped that 10th in the final sector, but let's see how Dano is doing. He's the last person on the lap, and he's not really flying out there, I don't think.
No,
but I think that's going to be your grid.
Yeah, I agree with you. And thank you to all our viewers for tuning in tonight. I mean, 8 viewers on our debut stream here in FP. Me and Hulk absolutely appreciate those tuning in, and myself included has got the stream playing in the background, so just to up the viewer count a bit. But no, it's a good qualifying session. Who do you think is going to win this race?
Well, that lap from Warren Haig definitely puts him in the driver's seat, I feel. Almost half a second quicker than Ugi in the Toro Rosso behind him.
Yeah,
I just hope he doesn't drive off into the sunset and we get a bit of a race with it.
I agree with you. You want to take us a run down the top 10? We won't go into lap times. We've only got 15 seconds left.
Yeah, first place we have Warren Hagen, the Ferrari, and the two Toro Rossos, second and third. Kurt Royce in fourth, with Mr. Grumpy in the other Red Bull in fifth. Ash Best in the Lord McLaren in sixth, well, not the Lord McLaren, I missed out Jack Leslie, who's in eighth, with CC Brain in the middle of them. Chicken Owens in the Force India in ninth, Daniel 94 DCFC in 10th, and then Jack Lacey in the Renault, and JP Greenwood in the Mercedes rounds off the grid for tonight's FP race.
Jesus, yeah, right about that. And you know what's missing from the grid? Lee Catamol. He could definitely do some damage tonight, but we'll just
see some aggressive moves then, I think.
Yeah, some definite aggressive lunges, late challenges. But would like to say welcome to Human Fish, who's tuning in, one of the gods of the PlayStation GL site. So great to have him with us here tonight. So that's great news. But the race will be underway in 20 seconds. Just in a sentence, Holt, just sum up, how did drivers feel at this moment before the lights go out?
Well, it depends how experienced you are, really. You can feel quite nervous, especially for your first race, so if you're qualified higher than you think you are, but then you think you ordinarily would. But otherwise, it's nice to just have a sense of calm just before the race starts, I think.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Now, on pole position, it's Warren Haig with Oogie Azim alongside him. The time screens are messed up, but Haig gets away well, as does Oogie. There's a Red Bull in the background. That's Mr. Grumpy, who's got away well. It looks like a clean start so far, but that could all change after turn one. One of the Red Bulls goes wide. There's a Toro Rosso off as well in the background. I think it's AMS. Oh my goodness. What a disastrous start to the race, but we'll go back on board in the midfield with Curtois, who's right behind Oogie Azim, making up places at the start. Made up one position, Brain up to fourth as well. In the Renault, keeping an eye on things. But what a race start there, Holt.
Yeah, it was. The two Toro Rossos were side by side going into turn one. I don't know what happened to cause AMS be 14 seconds down the road in last place, but hopefully we'll figure that out later on. CC Rain has a very good start, has Jack Lacey, and Mr. Grumpy's down one position, Daniel up 3 positions, Chicken Owens and Jack Tyler also up a couple of positions.
And Jack Tyler and Chicken Owens was squabbling there for a second, and there's Ash Best also trying to have a bite. I think he's gone wide at the background. JP has made his way into the top 10, so poor start for Ash Best. But
yeah, Ash Best has a piece of his front wing missing, so I wonder what's happened to him. Maybe he had some contact with EMS, it's possible.
Yeah, but Oogie Azim here, Hulk, he's under pressure. Is he going to be able to maintain this position at the end of the straight?
Well, Curtis is quite a good racer. Is he going to look around the outside into turn one? Oh, he's being pushed to the very end of the track. I think Oogie was very much leaving the cars with and no more there. And now Curtis is under pressure from the Renault of CC Brain, I think, behind him. He's ran wide, and now that's Curtis going side by side again.
Oh, off the track. Oh, I love that. Look at that. That's what you call feisty racing. It's a little bit dirty, but you know what? That is entertainment. That is fine. It's a good racing between the pair of them. Just about keeping it clean. And, well, it's really starting to queue up, isn't it, behind Oogie? And Curtis is just trying to resist the threat of CC Brain. He's in a better vehicle, but, you know, its driver skill will come into play here.
Yeah, CC Brain is a very, very quick driver, and Curtis hasn't had a race since the Italian Grand Prix last season in F4. So he may be feeling a bit rusty in that cockpit.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting here because Curtis seems like he's faster than Oogie Azim at this stage of the race. There's a long way to go, and Warren Haig already pulling out a 2.3 second lead, so that is an absolutely incredible start for the Ferrari driver. Some people said he might be in a vehicle that's slightly overpowered for this one, but no.
Well, you might be proving them people right there. Is it 26.4 is fast lap of the race there? It's a very quick time for this early on, and 2.5 seconds miles out of the DRS zone. It's going to be difficult for anyone to trouble him this race. But if you look on further down back the field, Curtis, we have the Renault of CC Rain and Jack Lacey. They're very close to each other. fighting over 4th position.
Yeah, but it's going to be really tough in that Honda engine to get an overtake done. And just a comment from Human Fish in the chat, he says Aaron loves it dirty, never gets more excited. So Human Fish definitely embracing the feisty element of Psgl F1 racing. So that's great to see. But this race could fizzle out pretty early because it isn't an easy overtaking circuit, is it?
No, it isn't, but I think as one of the slipstreams there's always that chance, and the people in the likes of the McLaren Honda and even the Renaults when they're challenging quicker engines ahead of them, they're going to have to try and force a mistake rather than just try and, because they're not going to outpace them on a straight. So the only way they can really do it is either try an audacious move into a, well, not so common overtaking area, or just force a mistake out of them through constant pressure.
Yeah, and Kurtoy's definitely closing onto the back of Ugi Azim here, so this could get pretty tasty. I know Jack and JP Greenwood at the back are having a feisty battle. I do want to keep one eye on that as well, but because I know those two got really feisty at the season finale at Brazil last season, so it could happen again. So we'll get a little snippet of it and see what happens here. It's a battle over 9th and 10th, and JP Greenwood eyeing up his first points in a decade after that magnificent accident we saw in qualifying. Will he have that mental stability to be able to maintain the duration of this race, or will he be scarred by that early incident?
You know, again, I think you just have to put it behind you. There's nothing you can do about it, and he's had a decent start. He's up 3 positions, so just focus on what's ahead of him. Try and keep Jack Tyler behind him and get his first punch of the season in the opening race, which I'm sure he'll be delighted with.
Yeah, you can really see Jack Tyler closing in on the back of that Mercedes. This is really going to get faster. Jack Lacey picks up a penalty, and Hulk, who do you feel is most outperforming their vehicle for this race? It's a question from Human Fish.
I'm very impressed with Jack Lacey in the McLaren, although I think overall I'd probably say Ugi in the Toro Rosso is doing very well to be in 2nd place, and really fighting very well with the Red Bull of Kurtoy's.
Yeah, and we're just seeing here Jack's looking far more comfortable around the race circuit than JP Greenwood, but that engine difference could have a part to play down the straight here. I know Mr. Grumpy's closing on the back of Jack Lacey, who's made an error somewhere, but we'll just stick with this battle on board at the moment, and JP absolutely keeping him behind. We'll need to go to Mr. Grumpy because I think this might be getting really close here. No, it's not. Not yet. Oh, Jack Tyler! We just caught that right on the back of JP Greenwood. He's just made a mistake now. I think he tried to make an overtake down to turn 1, but had to give up the ghost. So,
yeah, I don't think the slipstream was powerful enough to get side by side to actually make a little bit of a lunge.
Yeah,
he did actually have the choice of going in the Williams for this race. He might be regretting going in the Renault instead now that he's stuck behind the Mercedes powered car.
Yeah, so it's a kind of like a lose-lose situation, but Mr. Grumpy putting Jack Lacey under all sorts of pressure, so anybody knows that Mr. Grumpy is one of the most cherished names on the site, isn't he? He's clocked up the miles, hasn't he, over the years, and he's a seasoned veteran, one of the most respected drivers you'll ever come across on the site, so he's doing well for himself in stick, but I'm sure he'll want to put that Red Bull slightly higher up the grid.
Yep, and at the moment, I think he might be getting held
JP Greenwood's out! Oh, we should have stayed on board with that. I think that there's contact between Jack and JP because Jack Tyler's lost a wing. And JP Greenwood...
what's happened there?
Oh, it's the same chicane. I think he might have got his entry wrong or his exit wrong. And that moves Ash Best up into 10th. But Jack Tyler, look at him. He's absolutely fuming, bringing that Renault home. Now, back into the pit lane.
Well, there was clearly contact. Whether they're trying to go side by side through the chicane, so we'll have to find out. But
well, it was always going to happen, wasn't it? And Jack Tyler's out of the session. I wonder if you could give them both an invite to the party. We could get a mid-race interview from the pair of them.
Well, I could try. I'm not sure how well it'll work, but I'll give it a go.
As long as you don't join anybody else's party. So at the moment, Kurtoy is still on the back of Ugi Azim here. So a bit of a train building up behind Ugi, and oh yes, I forgot I'm the streamer. I don't know if I could take my eyes off this for now, but
We're going to have to wait a while for that, I think, but maybe doing the pit stops or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any battles going on at the moment? You still have
Grumpy and Jack.
Mr. Grumpy and Jack Lacey.
Probably the best one to stay on board with at the moment. I don't think
Yeah,
CC
this could be
Brain's
going
going
on
to make
all
any
this long.
inroads. And look at that great exit here, Holt. Can he get enough straight line speed to make a move here?
I think this is the closest he's ever been. Closing in. Is he going to have a move up the inside of Jack Lacey? You think he is?
Oh!
Side by side. Ooh. That's shutting the door and then some, I think.
Yeah, I think if Grumpy was a bit more braver on the brakes, I don't think there was any way Jack was going to leave that door open there. So wiser Grumps to back out of that one. So he'll be licking his wounds and he'll be trying again in the next lap.
Yep.
But
Yeah, it's no good going half-hearted against Jack Lacey. You're going to have to be fully committed.
Right about that, but JP Greenwood's in the pit lane. He's fuming. What an exit to the race. I just feel sorry for him because he came here with expectations. He could get a point, and he's just crashed out. Midst of passion. But Mr. Grumpy now, he's getting all the airtime, and he's absolutely loving it. In the Red Bull, cuts the corner, I think, cuts another one, but this is a good launch pad for him to launch an assault. And there's movement. Curtois, I think, has made a mistake. CC Brain's through.
He is, and that's CC Brain at the final podium position. We didn't quite see what happened there, I don't think. But Curtois is still right behind him and is going to have the DRS for this pit straight here. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? It doesn't look like it at the moment. He's not really closing in enough.
No, and I think the setup's come into play because a lot of the Psgl F1 drivers, they actually run with a lot more straight line speed compared to aerodynamic performance, and they all run similar setups, so maybe that's something that's in play at the moment. So CC Brain's definitely happy to get that move done, but it's a tough track to overtake on. And Mr. Grumpy here, he's going to be under attack from the Ferrari of Dano, so Dano's not looking too bad in these early stages.
No, Mr. Grumpy's falling off the back of Jack Lacey there. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Maybe the tyres are going off a bit. You know, Grumpy does suffer from tyre wear a fair amount. Dano very close to getting to 6th place. He'll be up 4 positions then from his starting position.
Yeah, so we're going to stay with Curtois and Brain, and then we'll see what happens behind them. But Brain here hanging on to P3. He's recently moved up to the Psgl F1 lead, so he's definitely becoming quite a name around the PlayStation GL side. So he'll be a driver to keep an eye on as the season progresses. He's a really consistent, safe pair of hands.
He is indeed, as Curtois is going to have another go on the pit straight. I'm not sure if he's going to be close enough this time. He's going to need a good exit out of the final corner, which I don't think he really got there. That's
not good enough. Haig and
Jack in the pit. Morton Haig is in the pit from the lead.
Yeah, but we've just got to look at Grumpy and Dano here. It could get close down to the second DRS straight, and Dano's got far superior powertrain package around Melbourne, but Mr. Grumpy is not an easy customer to overtake. He is going to be making it very hard for Dano. And will Dano send one down the inside? No, he doesn't think it's better of it.
He did have a bit of a reputation, especially in his early days, to Dano for having a few dive bombs from time to time, so might want to keep an eye on that. As Grumpy gets a 3-second time penalty there for cutting that corner.
I think that's Grumpy's second time penalty, so it's going to be interesting. So Haig and Jack Lacey have fed back out into clean air. Chicken Owens in 6th. I wonder what tyres he is on. He's on the Ultras. I don't think he's made any stops, has he? So he should be in relatively soon. But we'll just go back on board with Mr. Grumpy because Dano here trying to make a move around the chicane. No, he doesn't think it's better of it. And wow, that got pretty close, didn't it?
Yeah, it's always very tense when somebody tries to go side by side through that corner. I mean, you don't want to back out and lose the position, but if you keep side by side, it's very easy just to spin. So
yeah, and I hope one of these comes into the pit lane. I think we'll see some movement up ahead as well.
Yeah, Grumpy dives into the pits.
That's a wise decision. Wise decision.
And Kurt is still very close to CC Brain in the Red Bull.
I think Chicken Owens and Warren Haig, no, they're going to be relatively close. Warren Haig going for the 2 stop. He's on ultra softs at the moment, so this is going to be a close battle. We'll leave CC and Curtis because I don't know if there's going to be any movement for the time being, but if there's going to be any movement, Haig and Chicken Owens is definitely going to be the next piece of on-track action. Look at that superior grip differential.
Yeah, he's literally just drove up to the back of him, and now he's just a massive obstacle.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's a piece of chicken's front wing on there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Haig scared him off, didn't he?
Yeah, possibly just clip the curb on old tyres, and that's what happens sometimes. Those tyres will be 11 laps old now. 10 laps old rather, so he might be coming to the pits at the end of this lap. Well, probably definitely with that wing damage.
Right, I'm going to invite the 2 guys into the party as quick as possible, so just bear me a second. Apologies for that. We are back on the circuit. Will CC Brain pit? Yes, they're both going to go into the pit, so this is going to be a battle of the pit stops. And Curtis is further up the pit lane, so he's got an advantage. He needs to get close to CC Brain. He does so. That is very close. I think he might get the jump in the pit lane here, and Dano in as well. Will he have anything to say? No, he doesn't. Who's going to come out in front? I can't see what's going on, but I don't know if Renault are going to be able to get him out in time. Yes,
yeah, they have just about.
Wow, that's what you call so.
Good job, Renault.
Yeah, just one moment, Jack. So I think everybody's fed back out reasonably well here. Hulk, do you want to ask a question to JP Greenwood first?
Yeah, well, I think the main question is what happened?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been struggling there all the times I've been practicing, and I don't know if you saw it on the stream, but I binned it in the same places in qualifying as well, and you know, just not my trouble 10, 11 and 12, I think that's the right one, the chicane. Yeah, just took too much speed, and yeah, dropped it and went into the wall and took out Jack at the same time, so yeah, bad stuff for both of us.
Yeah, it was the second incident in the back corner as well, so it was pretty much exactly the same as the qualifying one then.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Cool. So, you know, shame for you, JP. Points could have been up for offer, but Jack, how does it feel to be collected in that condition? You were having a great tussle with JP, but you must be absolutely gutted.
Yeah, I mean, I was speechless at the time. I didn't really expect JP to lose it, and then as soon as he lost it, I knew, yeah, my race is over.
Yeah, and you know who's going to be speechless here? Ash Best, because he's under threat from Dano. There's all sorts of weaving going on. Sorry to cut you off. We'll be back with you in just a second, but that got pretty close. So, Jack,
might find out another battle if you don't mind. CC Brin and Oogie are incredibly close to each other.
Oh, thank you for that. We'll go on board with that one, but yeah, this could get really feisty because I know CC Brain's got a superior package here. Can he make a move? Oh, 2 movements there, and that could have got ugly, real ugly.
Yeah, I think Oogie might be going for a one-stop on the super softs here, which could be very interesting later on in the race.
I think he's absolutely mental to try that.
We'll see how it works out for him though. So, back to the 2 people who...
Oh, chicken's out.
What happened there?
It's just retired.
Yeah. He was in the points as well. It's fine. Chicken Owens is retired in the Force India on lap 13 of this race. There's only 9 runners left. I'm surprised he retired there because he was going to score a point regardless.
He's my teammate, so that's bad news for both of us.
You know, unlucky there, Jack. I know you wanted to get some points, but good to see you back on track again, recovering from that wrist injury. So, you know, thank you for both joining us for your thoughts about the race, and you know, enjoy the rest of the evening and enjoy the stream.
Me too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
I'll take it easy.
Right, now back to the action on track, and we've now got a three-way battle for second place between Oogie, CC Rain and Kurtwise.
Yeah, I know Dano's
Oogie.
made a move on Ash somewhere behind, so I think that was probably a straightforward overtake. We'll see if we can just catch a glimpse of that. Yeah, it was probably done in that first sector, so a very strange place to make an overtake, but fair play to him.
Yeah, just about worked. I'm quite surprised that Oogie isn't quicker on those super soft tyres compared to CC Rain and Kurtwise who are on the softs. And honestly, I'm not sure if they'll all be looking for one stop. Oogie might be trying to stretch it. He is quite famous and very good on his tyres.
It's ambitious, but anything can happen. At Melbourne, all you need is a safety car, but unfortunately we're not going to get one today. And a lot of these drivers are racing in the UK. I mean, will the warm weather have anything to do with some of these drivers crashing out early? Because the heat.
Well, I'd hope not, because it's cooled off a bit. It's cooled off a bit now. But as we get towards the night, hopefully the rooms will be well ventilated. Maybe have the fans on. Sure they keep themselves cool. But yeah, but it certainly doesn't help your concentration. Make you tired, and it's just... It's not fun to race when you're absolutely sweating and boiling when the sun's baking down on you, but there's not really a lot you can do about that, and you just have to focus despite the conditions.
No, I definitely agree with that. And one man, he's got the sun beaming down on him all the time. Oogie Azim from Pakistan, acclimatised to these warm weather conditions, and he will definitely be feeling the heat of CC Brain right behind him. And Oogie doing a fine job holding them off, but when those super softs go, they will go. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he stretches this stint. I cannot see those super softs going to the end, but you know, I'll eat my words if he does, but I just can't see it happening. And oh my goodness, Mr. Grumpy and Dano, I don't know what's happening there. We should have kept an eye on that, but it's getting close here.
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy looked to have made a move into the first of the right-handers at the end of the circuit, and now Dano will have the ERSM slipstream down the pit straight. He's closing up very quickly. That's some high downforce in Mr. Grumpy's car, looks like.
Yeah, it's a great
and
move there. And
yeah,
Mr.
the
Grumpy
move's done
doesn't
before,
give it up, does he?
before the corner. But, yeah, trying to fight back. He can have the slipstream this straight, but not the DRS, so he's going to struggle. And yeah, he's going to have to make another audacious move somewhere else on the track, I feel.
So a good clean overtake there from Dano. He'll be running away with that, but it's the type of circuit where you're not going to see too many overtakes, but thank God we saw one. And Jack Lacey's still hanging on in 5th place. He's not really here or there or anywhere, is he? He's just stuck in no man's land for the time being.
Oh, he's in a bit of a race of his own at the moment. He's about 4 seconds behind 4th place and 9 seconds ahead of 6th place, so makes the job a bit easier, of course. You can just focus on driving, bringing the car home, getting some decent points in that McLaren, but probably doesn't make it the most exciting race for him.
No, you're definitely right about that. And while we wait for something to happen out on track, I mean, it can happen any moment. So for the remaining viewers we've got, please let us know if you've got any questions. And we have a question from Human Fish. What percentage of the grid are sat in their pants right now?
I have no way of knowing that, so I'm afraid I can't answer.
Yeah, we can't.
I'm hoping it's quite a low percentage.
Yeah, you'd hope so. You never know how these drivers race. I know that Big C doesn't like to race with any clothes on, from what I've heard. Some of the rumours, hence why they call him Big C, because he uses alternative methods to get the speed out of his car. But any questions, send them into the chat with hashtag AskIran or AskHulk. But this race is dying down, and we haven't spoken about Warren Hay. He's got a lead of 15 seconds, and he's got another pit stop to make. So some of these drivers who are one-stopping, you know, they may have to fight Warren Hay. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. He might have thrown the race win away if he can't get the overtakes done. He's going to be lightning quick on those, well, presumably super soft tyres when he does pit, but he's going to have to make overtakes on a track that is famously difficult to overtake on.
You're right about that, and I wonder how much longer Warren Hay can keep those tyres going, because he's not really pulling a gap on Ugi Azim anymore. The gap's staying constant at 15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly, and if he's not pulling away, then what's the point in staying out? You might as well pit and then have more laps with which to try and overtake. Because Uki and CC Brown's tyres, they're not going to get any younger, are they? So
No.
he is pulling a slight gap. He's pulling out maybe 2 or 3 tenths, but he's not going to pull a pit stop before he has to pit again. And it probably won't be long before the super softs start to be a little bit quicker than the ultra softs, especially considering the ultras. Warren Hay was the very first car to pit. He pitted on lap 8. I think Uki waited until lap 11 or lap 12 before pitting on his tyres, so they're still relatively fresh.
Definitely agree with you there. I mean, it's pulled out half a second now, so I'm sure we'll see Warren Hay in the pits soon, but it is one of the longest pit lanes, so if he does pit, he could run the risk of emerging behind Jack Lacey, but he shouldn't be too difficult to pass in the McLaren Honda.
Well, you'd imagine not if he catches up to him on a straight, but Jack Lacey is, as we saw earlier, quite a good defensive driver.
You're right about that, but Jack Lacey, it's kind of like a Jack Rodwell performance, isn't it, here today? He's just not
the invisible man.
Yeah, the invisible man. He's just away in the background, just making a living. But
yeah, but at least he's scoring points though, which is something I can't say is Jack Rodwell can do.
Yeah, you're right about that, and I know that CC Brain now is starting to get even closer to Ugi Azim. Those super softs are starting to struggle slightly, so we may see some action soon, but I mean, I wouldn't eat my heart out. These 3 drivers, they're very well respected, they're very clean racers, and I'm sure none of them will do anything silly for the time being. It's nice to see drivers not just sending lunges down the inside and just waiting for that right moment. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, try and force your opponent into a mistake before putting both of your racers at risk.
No, you're right about that. And we've got a question from Game Freaker. He's asked me, is Hay doing the no stop? No, he's definitely not doing the no stop. He'll definitely have to pit on those ultra softs.
And he's already made 1 stop, so he's in for the 2nd time now.
Warren Hay is in, so where will he emerge? We'll go on board with him in a moment, but we can't take our eyes off CC Brain and see whether he does launch an attack on Ugi as his rear tyres will start to wear out here. So CC Brain will be getting even closer now down the pit straight. Hay will merge behind this trio, but the question is, will he come out in front of Jack Lacey? It's looking reasonably tight, but I can't keep my eyes off this. So we're going to stay on board with CC Brain here. Can he make a move on Ugi Azim now? Is he going to make a move around the outside? And Ugi squeezes him off. Look at that, really tight. But he's going to do it around the outside. And that is a fantastic overtake. Classy overtake. And now Kurt Oyst will be next to have a bite. And Warren Hay did emerge in 4th. So this could get pretty tasty in the last 10 laps as to who's going to win this race.
Yeah, that was a textbook overtake into turn 3 from CC Brain around the outside. And Warren Hay is going to be closing in incredibly quickly. He's going to struggle to overtake all 3 of these cars, especially as they're squabbling with each other over what is now the race victory.
Yeah, and when you're in a DRS train, it's even harder to make an overtake. So it will show a lot of character from Hay to make an overtake, but he's not one who shies away. And we've got a question from Flying Frome to both of us. Who is your pick for the F4 champion this season?
Well, I'd like to say my teammate. I think he can do a good job.
But what about Kurt Oyst? I know he's not in the league, but he's one of the streamers, and he's saying maybe I should be on the F4 grid, maybe I should be a champion. He's on the back, all over the back of Ugi Azim. But no, Vince thinks better of it. But no, your teammate Game Freak could definitely, I reckon, can do it. Anybody else? What springs out?
Oh, so yeah, Warren Hay, he's got some very strong pace as shown here today. Mr. Grumpy, he was up there for most of the season last season, and obviously the reigning champion. You can't really discount him, can you? His race form is absolutely impeccable. He doesn't always qualify in the strongest, but it doesn't seem to matter. He makes up about 6 positions on the first lap, avoids every incident, apart from what happened in the pre-season race on Sunday, and that's how he won the championship last season. It wasn't by being the quickest driver on the grid, it was by being the most consistent driver on the grid, and so he probably wouldn't be my favourite, but I definitely wouldn't count him out.
No, yeah, I agree with you completely. Consistency is always key, and Blue Mosquito definitely one of the legends on this site. He's actually got a legends license, so if that doesn't prove it, nothing ever will. And I probably agree with all your championship picks, but I think Boy with No Face, if he turns up to every race, he's got the pace to do it. But we'll go with Game 3 for the time being now. CC Brain attacking Oogie Azim. Now the crucial thing here is that Oogie's getting DRS of CC Brain, so Kurtos can't really get as much of a run as he would like. He's looking far faster at this moment.
No, and now look who's just behind him.
Let's go get tasty.
Yeah, we have 9 laps to go now with Warren Haig on the quickest tyres battling to get past 3 cars for the victory. He was miles out in front, of a whole 15 seconds ahead before he made his pit stop, and he has been the quickest car on the grid today. But he's got some work to do if he wants to win.
Yeah, we need something sensational here. I don't think Kurtois is going to make it easy for him one bit.
And definitely not. He's a good racer and a very good defensive driver, and will Haig try and sneak down the inside of the chicane? No, he's going to try it on the outside of the chicane.
He'll get the grip for the cutback, but no, Kurtois definitely nailing that chicane, so that's a good exit from him. And Kurtois might have to be looking in his mirrors here. He doesn't go for the dive bomb, but most importantly, Kurtois will get DRS, so that will help him defend. You know, does he look towards the podium now, does Kurt, or does he look to attack for second and the victory? I mean, it's a tough predicament to be in when you're stuck in a sandwich.
Well, in order to get the podium, he has to keep Haig behind him. But it is still possible to take Oogie. He's closing on the straight. Haig isn't closing on the straight, so if he gets a good exit here, he could. No, he wasn't quite good enough. But I think really he just has to try and keep Haig behind him for as long as possible. But fortunately, that does mean nailing every single corner, every single lap for the rest of this race.
Yeah, it's really going to get tight here as we come into the final 7 or 8 laps, and Kurtois putting Oogie Azim under all sorts of pressures. Those super soft tyres, they've screamed enough, they've yelled enough. Oogie has definitely wrenched those tyres to the cusp of its limits. But Warren Haig here, can he make a move around the outside of Kurtois? No, he doesn't. And oh, this contact. Kurtois has spun, and Haig has lost a bit of his end plate. Oh, Haig, he should have just braked. He should have braked and just waited for Kurtois to ghost, but he's lost his end plate, and that was a disaster waiting to happen. And oh, surely Haig's going to have to come in the pits after that. The man on for the victory. What a way for your race end, and Kurtois, I think, has got away without any damage at all, so he may still get that podium position.
Yeah, I don't even think he was trying to make a move on Oogie. I think he was trying to defend from Warren Haig behind him, and that just meant that he had to brake late, and also meant that you have to go up the inside of Oogie. So he's caught in rock and a hard place there with Kurtois, and he didn't really have much he could do to do that apart from just completely surrendering third position there. But it's worked out, well, not great for him because he's now 7 seconds behind, but it's worked out a lot worse for Warren Haig. He'd actually decided to stay out on that rather damaged Ferrari.
Yeah, and we're just going to go to the battle for 8th place here, because Mr. Grumpy's on a fresh set of Ultra Sauce, and he's going to be putting AMS under some pressure here. So Haig's staying out with that damage, and he's closing in on Oogie Azim, so he's still got the pace, so we're not going to rule him out completely, and he's got a better vehicle as well. But Mr. Grumpy, can he find his way past AMS here? This man has done it all on the GL site, and we're always reminding people about this man's talents and achievements. And Hulk, can he get past AMS here?
Well, I'd like to think so. He's on much faster, much younger tyres than EMS, and I'm not entirely certain why he made another pit stop, but he decided to. So I think it's only a matter of time before he gets past the Toro Rosso. It's a much quicker car, it's better tyres, younger tyres.
Brain! And Oogie.
What's happened?
Brain's made a mistake and Oogie's through into the lead. I don't know what's happened there, but that's bizarre.
Yeah, CC Brain spent all those laps stuck behind Oogie, finally gets past, and then a couple of laps later makes a mistake. Plus, what could be the race victory, although Warren Haig is still closing in behind on these front two drivers.
I don't know what to go on board with at the moment. I did want to see Mr. Grumpy, but I'm going to have to switch, aren't I, to the battle to the lead in just a moment. So, Haig is going to have a drive around the outside. CC Brain's going to have to slam the door shut. He does. Haig thinks better of it that time. And, well, this is all going to be helping Oogie Azim. But if Warren Haig gets past CC Brain, the door could be unlocked to still have a go for the victory. And with a broken wing, that is something impressive. You can see what Mr. Grumpy's doing at this moment. He's making an attack on AMS around the outside into turn one. Can he get the move done? He's going around the outside. He's got the grip and he gets squeezed off by AMS. Ooh. I mean, fair, feisty defending. I mean, they are in difficult cars. But Warren Haig now on CC Brain out of the chicane. He's got a better switch back. It's all happening here. Hulk, take it on. Take it over.
Yeah, it's going to be one of his best overtaking opportunities. I think he's going to get, and he breaks hard down into the right-hander, cuts off CC Brain and gets up to second position now. Can he chase down Oogie Azim 3.7 seconds behind with 5 laps to go?
Well, the dog has been let off the leash and he's going to be chasing down Oogie Azim, and Jack Tyler feels as if he's not capable of a title. Well, Warren Haig thinks he definitely is, and he's showing a champion's drive here, recovering with a broken wing. He could be an early favourite for the FP title as the season progresses.
Yeah, Game Freaker made a good point there. CC Brain also has front wing damage. Didn't quite see how that happened.
Sorry, Mr. Grumpy around the outside of AMS. It's really getting personal between this pair here. Oh, Mr. Grumpy doesn't want to be taken for a mug. I think he might just send one down the inside and just take AMS out. He's looking like one of the most pissed off drivers you'll ever see. Grumpy, he's probably drunk a few and he needs to make that move on AMS. I think he's going to go aggressive. He's had enough of being pushed off into the grass and being squeezed off. I think he's going to have a go. Will he wait for the other straight? Will he? Yes, he does. Wise a Grumpy. He knows he can't have a bite around those other corners. And look at this. He's got to make a move around the outside. Will AMS go deeper on the brakes here? He does. And can Grumpy get the grip around the outside? No, he can't. And AMS defending with class.
Yep, he's quite an experienced driver now with AMS. Obviously not as experienced as Grumpy, but he's got a fair few seasons under his belt, and using all of that racing expertise there to bend off on Mr. Grumpy.
Yeah, Brain and Curtois.
Super soft tyres.
It's all happening. Gonna take us
Kurt
through
was one
this.
of the few. Kurt was one of the few people with a full front wing now, looking to get back on the podium after dropping out after that incident with Warren Haig early on in the race. He's going to dive up the inside turn one and cuts off CC Brain again quite nicely, up into third place now.
It's a great move. He's just got to defend from that. I know Mr. Grumpy and AMS are still going hammer and tongs. It's really getting personal between this pair, and it's really late into the race. But an 8th place will mean the world to Grumpy, and this is his best opportunity as he drive around the outside. He can't be squeezed off here. Surely you can't squeeze someone off here, and Grumpy's got to take it and run, and yes he does, but penalties will come into play at the end of this race, I'm sure. And look at that, AMS having a go back at him. No, thinks better off it, and Grumpy is absolutely smiling in that cockpit, and AMS goes wide. Oh,
yeah, I think that's the end of that battle now. It was just about to heat up as well. AMS seemed to have tremendous straight line speed. I'm not entirely sure where he's got that from, but was able to hold off Grumpy for a number of laps. Definitely frustrated. It's unlikely that Grumpy's going to be able to catch up to Ash Best now, but you might be able to if you get past AMS on an earlier lap.
And Hayes picked up a penalty, so that's not going to be good news for him. I know Oogie rarely picks up any penalties either. And Game Freaker feels Jack Lacey could be on for a podium with the penalty, so you never know how this race could could pan out. Oh,
I mean, Jack Leslie does have a penalty himself, so. Although Kurt Boyce does have, I think he has at least 2, so.
fair enough.
It's possible, but we'll have to wait and see about that.
Well, nothing's happening on track at the moment, so you know what? Let's get a lap on board with the most experienced driver you're ever going to see. Mr. Grumpy. He's going to start a lap here, rounds the final corner, gets the power down. Over 1,000 race starts for this man alone. He's been racing since 2010, since the likes of Ash Best was in his nappies, as he goes into turn 1, smooth as you like on the ultra soft. And now he heads down into a heavy braking zone at the end of the first DRS straight at 180 miles an hour. Look at that braking, absolutely smooth. This man has won titles, he's been through some wars, he's seen some things on the site, and look at him, he's absolutely enjoying himself as he decorates his experience around the racetrack, Hulk.
Yeah, he's doing well, just at the end of the first sector there. He's putting in some decent lap time, driving very smoothly. It's probably not going to get him another position, but certainly all memories of AMS long gone now. He's going to get a nice, decent points haul today. 8th position, that's 3 points I think. Start off the season with.
That's good, and he takes this chicane really smoothly, no signs of a struggling man. This man is my teammate next season in F4, and what a pleasure it is seeing him drive that car around the track. Some may say he wrenches it around, but he's looking absolutely smooth at the moment. This is going to be probably best lap of the session here today, and Mr. Grumpy, look at him to the line. Here we go with that orange helmet beaming down in the Red Bull. And that is a fantastic lap time on board with a former Psgl champion, the most experienced driver on the site. And Jack Lacey's closing in to CC Brain, I believe, at least this late stage. No, I think he's just made a mistake. The gap was 1 second. And the Game Freak has asked a question to me. Why am I such a good defender? Do you practice for that? No, I just don't like giving up my position. Simple as that.
That's fair enough.
Well,
Is there anything going on track? Doesn't look like it.
No, well, we'll give the final lap to Ugi Azim, the league admin. He's driven phenomenally well, and I'm just going to let you talk through what this man has done in today's race.
He did well to qualify up in P2 with a tremendous lap. Wasn't quite good enough for pole position, but good lap regardless, and that's Toro Rosso one here picks up another penalty. And in the race, he held on to Warren Haig, even though he was on a slow car. Warren Haig did probably went on the wrong strategy, went to a 2-stop, but you can't take anything away from Ugi Azim. He's raced hard against the likes of Kurt Boyce and CC Brain to come out ahead of those other 2 cars in that 3-way battle that lasted for most of the mid-race. And Warren Haig, with his damaged car, catch up to the back of him, and Ugi Azim is going to take the inaugural race of this FP season.
And as one of our spectators have pointed out, is this just desserts for Ugi? Does he deserve this victory after giving up that victory to Ash Best in yesterday's Psgl F1 League? Because the answer for me is yes. And he's coming around this final sector. Ugi Azim, known as the Rawalpindi Express in some parts of the world, and is making his mark here in the Psgl Formula Performance League in the Toro Rosso. Franz Tost cannot believe his luck. Ugi Azim has got one more stretch of the straight to go. He wins at the season opener, and Haig takes second, but penalties may decide what happens. Will Kurtos move up? No, he doesn't. He's got penalties of his own. CC Brain doesn't pick up too many. Where will he classify? 4th, 5th for Jack Lacey. So not much movement there, Holt.
No, seems like everyone got a roughly equal amount of penalties, especially considering they were rather far spaced out on the track. So the penalties don't seem to have affected much, although we still have 3 more cars to finish the race.
And Ash Best
finishes. Mr. Grumpy with
yeah,
comes across the line in 8th position.
Yeah, and just a word on Mr. Grumpy, absolutely phenomenal. from the most legendary driver you'll ever see on this site. But a great victory for Ugi Azim. We're going to see the celebrations on the podium in just a moment's time. So there he is, Ugi Azim, absolutely ecstatic. Joining him on the podium is Warren Haig and Kurt Oyce. So a good day for those three drivers. They'll be absolutely over the moon, and we'll just take a run down the order. So I'm going to let you take a run down, Hulk. We've got 9 viewers on air.
Yeah, Ugi Azim took the checkered flag, the only driver without any penalties today. Warren Haig in second place after qualifying on pole position. Kurt Oyce taking the final podium position in the Red Bull there. CC Vane in fourth position, he should be happy with that in the Renault, and Jack Lacey should be quite happy with his position as well, fifth place in the McLaren Honda. Dano in sixth position in the Scuderia Ferrari, with Ash Best down in seventh position. He did have an incident in the first lap which put him down the order. So did AMS, who finishes in eighth place. A nice little recovery drive of him there. He does finish ahead of Mr. Grumpy on penalties.
No!
He finishes in ninth position following a total of, I'll see it in a second, 18 seconds worth of penalties there.
No, and a DNFs for Chicken Owens and obviously Jack Darling and JP in their horrific collision. We both hope they've recovered from that and are perfectly able to continue into next season. So I'm just going to invite the people into the party, so we're not going to be able to hear you on the stream for the meanwhile, Hulk, so just give me a moment. So we're just going to wait for the podium finishers to join us. So yeah, so we'll just wait for everybody to get in. But that was a nice little season opener, wasn't it? It wasn't too dramatic. It was comfortable, not too much action going on. So we weren't dragging across from battle to battle. So we were able to keep up with the action. And so
yeah. I think considering there was a rather depleted grid, we got a fair amount of on-track action. So.
Yeah, and we definitely saw a lot of action towards the end, especially with Mr. Grumpy as well, decorating himself around the circuit, which is great to see. One of the more experienced drivers on the site decorating himself in that fashion. So great action from him. So we've got some people in the party. Have we got the race winner here? Yes, we do. It's Ugi Azim. I'll ask the first question, Hulk. Ugi, mate, you won the race in such a magnificent fashion. After yesterday's Psgl F1 result, where you handed over your victory to Ash Best, how do you feel emotionally after getting that victory? Do you feel like you deserved it? Okay, Hulk, do you have any questions for Ugi?
Yeah, so you had to, as you said, you had to fight for the win. We also went for a very interesting strategy, going for the ultra soft and the super soft. The only driver to pick that strategy. Was that something you practiced prior to the race, or?
I don't think our viewers can hear him from some reports, but do continue, Ugi. Okay, just give him a moment. He will be with us. We're having some audio issues on the podium.
I think it should be done now. So yeah, it was when Warren Haig went for the ultras that I knew that he was going to two-stop. So I knew I had to sort of pull out an advantage before he did his second stop, or keep up with him before he did the second stop, so he doesn't come out in front of me. So that's when I had to change the strategy. Otherwise, I was going to go for the softs in lap 9 or lap 10.
Cool.
It was an audacious strategy, and glad it paid off here.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the traffic also helped, but yeah.
No, it was a great victory. We'll move on to Kurt now. Hulk, you want to ask him a few questions?
Yeah, the first question I have is just obviously congratulations on the podium, but what happened in that incident between you and Warren Haig, where you?
I knew you was going to ask that. I knew it. Now, to be honest, because he just got a better run out of me out of turn 5, I think it is, and I saw the red arrow got my inside, so I couldn't go that side. But at the same time, it was just a massively late braking maneuver just to keep that position. But yeah, I broke a bit too late, and I caught Oogie's rear right tire, and it just saw me spin around, unfortunately. But yeah. That's it, really. It was just defensive maneuver error, whatever. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, that's what I said. It looked like you were caught in a rock and a hard place then, because obviously everyone was so close together. But
yeah.
So were you surprised you got on the podium, or was that what you were aiming for?
Well, I don't know. Well, I really love Australia for starters. Really love it. But with the Red Bull, I thought I would have got the podium anyway, but God, I had to really work for it, and especially when I noticed Warren how it was too stopping, and it was going to be hard to keep him behind, but with the nature of the cars and overtaking, it was diabolical. With the Toro Rosso, Renault and the Red Bull, all Renault powered cars, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. And yeah, that was just my story, really.
No, well, you got the podium, so well done. Don't want to cut you off, but I know we're running fine on time. We've got so many drivers to get through, but a fantastic podium, Kurt. It was great to see you drive that well out on the circuit. I think we've also got Jack Lacey in the party. I'm not sure.
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't. Who have we got left? Is it
Grumpy?
Oh yes, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. You got a lot of stream time that race, especially towards the end.
Oh, God.
Grumps, I know you had a difficult start to the race in the Red Bull. You were up there in the pack, but then I think you ended up stopping, and you had a great tussle with AMS out there. Did you show who was boss and who had the experience to succeed in this division? Did you just put him in his place? Because that was one hell of an overtake.
Yeah, I knew I had fresher tyres and he was on slower tyres, and I had loads of penalties, so I thought I'd have some fun. But yeah, good battling. But it was an embarrassing race for me.
No, I thought you did pretty well. You lit up the racetrack towards the end, and we got a lap on board with you as well. So it was a great moment for all our viewers, reliving the nostalgia that you once had around the racetrack many seasons ago, and will continue to have so for the next 20 or so seasons. So, well done to you as well. Have we got any more questions, Holt, for the rest of our drive?
Well, I do have to mention the penalties. Just one went wrong, so you ended up with 6 of them.
Not say that again, sorry.
No, what went wrong, so you ended up with 6 penalties by the end of the race.
I don't know, the car just felt horrible the whole race, and I don't know, my head wasn't in the right place, so I wasn't concentrating properly. I don't even know. Just horrible, embarrassing.
Well, let's hope F4 goes better for you. We'll just get the last words from our race winner, Oogie. Are you still there? He's not there, so... or is he there?
Hold on. Yes, I am.
So Oogie, could we get some final words to some of our viewers out there tuning in from across the seas?
बहुत मज़े दी रेस थी जी, बड़ा मज़ा आया ते किसी नाल भी बड़ा अच्छा बैटल हुआ ते बहुत शुक्रिया जी ਤੁਹਾਡਾ कमेंट्री बहुत आला सी सुने मैंने.
No, thank you for that. That's a great way to end the stream. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I've been joined by Hulkenberger here today, fantastic racer, fantastic doing commentary with you, and we hope you tune in next week as the drivers take around the Brazil circuit, and we expect 7-time champion Big C to be back. So thank you and goodbye.